Hello, Stir. I'm Dr. Vidita Vaidya. I'm a professor of neuroscience at the Tata Institute of Fundamental Research in Mumbai. My area of research is to understand neurocircuits that produce emotion, and I do it from asking whether life experience shapes these neurocircuits and whether psychedelic drugs influence these circuits. I think absolutely it does. Anything that we consume, which I mean in terms of life experiences, impacts these circuits. And technology is now a huge component of our life experiences, so it's impossible that it doesn't. We're also a very social species, and our social world is currently strongly influenced by technology. And so I think it's inevitable that technology will have an impact on neurocircuits. Some of it will be for the good, some of it will be for the bad, but I think we can tailor it to benefit our circuits for sure. I haven't. I should give you the caveat. I work with rats and mice. I don't work with humans. I consume literature on people who work with humans, and so I am aware of some of that literature. I do know that there have been suggestions that psychedelics can impact creativity, but there hasn't been a systematic study of it to ask whether it enhances the creative impulse. That's more anecdotal than strongly supported scientifically at the moment. But anecdotal is also interesting and points to something that we should go and pursue and look at further. But I can't study that in my animals, but I can study many other things that I can study play behavior, I can study associative, affiliative behavior between animals, I can study fear-related responses, I can study empathetic responses in animals. So those are things that I can probe using animal models, but creativity is not something I can use rodents for. I think there's no question that different psychedelics will have different kinds of effects. They're all very different molecularly, and they also last in your body for different durations. Some of them have, for example, last for several days before they get broken down. Some of them last for a few hours and they're cleared out of your system so fast. So obviously the nature of effect they have is just by definition, because of the way your body processes them, quite different. I also think that people experience them quite differently in the nervous system. These drugs hit many different receptors. They also hit the serotonin 2A receptor, but they hit many receptors. And each drug has a slightly different affinity for some different combination of receptors. So the experiences are not identical, certainly not. So there are some that produce unfamiliar and not very pleasant experiences, and there are some that produce relatively milder experiences. So absolutely, they're impacting circuits quite differently. I think we are looking at a society where we have a frightening increase in mental health disorders. It's a serious concern. It's only going to get worse, is the way we sort of see it. Given that we haven't come up in the last 50 years with any real breakthrough therapies, this holds promise for potential breakthrough therapy if we handle it well, if we research it effectively, and we identify ways of regulating, legislating, and appropriately utilizing it. So I think it's very promising, but I think it needs a ton more work before it needs to get out directly into clinical usage. Yeah, but I think it is an exciting time in psychiatry, because it's been a long time since we had a molecule or a set of molecules that had this sort of promise and power.